All right, can you see my cursor?
Yes, sir. We can see.
All right, so that's
It's there.
pretty.
Yes, sir. We can see.
All right. First of all, very good afternoon, and it's been a wonderful past 2 days. And this is actually a very great initiative. I mean, never before have I attended any sessions on artificial intelligence where all the different professions are on the same platform. You have an engineer, you have an MBBS, you have a researcher, you have a dentist, you have a pharmacist, and you have so many people from the computer science background. Brilliant concept, and I wish that such programs could happen again in the future. Anil and your team, congratulations. You have done a fantastic job, and this is a great concept to have. I also congratulate the Department of Science of Technology, Government of Gujarat, and Council on Science and Technology in association with Narsin Patel Dental College for bringing this to fruition. And such initiatives are certainly going to hone the skills of all the students, future researchers, and many more. Um, Good job. And I wish you all the best for the future endeavors. So, uh, without mincing words, let me tell you, I am a dentist, I'm an orthodontist. So I'm not going to deep dive into how artificial intelligence works in depth. That's not my field. Probably I'll have to take some different avatar to actually become one, to actually deep dive into the algorithms, algebra, mathematics, and learning that. But some point in time in the future, I feel someday we dentists will have to deep dive into it if we don't want to depend on other professions. So my presentation is going to be absolutely basic. I'm going to do the A, B, C, and D of artificial intelligence, whatever I could fathom and whatever I can tell you and explain you in simple terms. Okay. And feel free to probably in the chat box. Anil, are we accepting questions at the end of it?
Yeah, we have a question and answer session. If it is.
We'll question and answer at the end of it.
Yeah, end of it.
In between, to make it more interactive, probably I might have a little chat box. People could actually respond to it.
Yeah, they can put it in the chat box.
All right. Okay. So thank you for that lucid introduction. And yes, I'm an orthodontist, and I have a little liking for basic electronics and tinkering with stuff and experimenting. So this is that liking that kind of evoke my interest in this subject. First of all, I thank the patrons of all the Sankalchan Patel University for giving me this opportunity. Now, this is a very iconic picture. Gary Kasparov holding his head in disbelief, the great chess grandmaster. He got defeated by a computer called as Deep Blue. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was probably the prowess of artificial intelligence proved. And artificial intelligence arrived with a bang. That's a different story. A few years later, Gary Kasparov, who his ego hurt, went back and defeated Deep Blue. So you could give that to him. But this is the sign that artificial intelligence arrived, and it arrived with a bang. And it got better. This is IBM Watson. This is a supercomputer. You can ask it any question regarding your medical diagnosis. It has been so accurate that not even the best of the professionals probably could give an accurate diagnosis for very rare diseases. What it does is it calculates the questions, pulls out all the articles and all the data from the internet, cross relates it, and gives you a diagnosis. It has been so far very, very accurate. And there have been competition and challenges where IBM Watson has even surprised the best of the researchers. Time has come. I think you should all remember the Terminator movies, machines have arrived for sure. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. This is a dexterous robot. This robot is so good and so dexterous that it can actually peel the grape or peel the skin of a grape. It is that dexterous. It is by Da Vinci surgical systems which have been used, and now they are applying it in other surgery. Not only that, this could peel, it could actually suture this grape back, suture the skin of the grape back to the where it was. So, ladies and gentlemen, the machines have not only got intelligent, but if the finer robotics and motors have got very, very dexterous, and it could sense movements in degrees. So, the combination of this, you can have imagine what all products and what all machines we could see in the future. This has gone further beyond. This is an endoscopy bot. It goes inside your intestines and it can actually relay images back to the operator. It is swallowed. It goes through your esophagus, back, go all the way into intestine, and actually can detect cancers or lesions, so that give you the real-time data to the operator outside. I'm not sure how it is excreted though. Jokes apart, but then this is the shape of things to come. Yes, you are just a dentist and you don't try to be fancy doing a computer's job, but certainly we can fancy imagining things, and we can ask the computer engineer to do how to do the job probably and help us to do the job. But imagining, certainly we can do. So have your ideas together. If you don't have a question to certain situation, you can certainly take help of artificial intelligence, and you can ask the computer guys, people, look, this is what I want. This is the data I can give you. What can you do for me? But to understand the concept of AI, what AI can do, you need to know what AI can do for you. So to communicate in the language the computer engineer understands. So my presentation is about that. How do you understand some little basic concepts? I'm not going to deep dive into a lot of things, but whatever I can, I will tell you. All right. So indications, you have virtual, which is governed by software algorithms, and you have physical, represented by sophisticated robots. Then you have all this influence, or AI has influenced almost all branches: prosthodontics, orthodontics, oral cancer, TMJ, oral surgery, periodontics, even to detect carious lesions. And it can probably give you an outcome, or probably it can even give you a solution to complex scenarios, which you can probably not even fathom. Imagine the days where we used to actually make the crown and bridge. We used to take the impression, we used to pour the cast, we used to probably do a wax up pattern. The wax up pattern was burnt, and then they took probably one full day, right? Now, how is it done today? How is it done today? You take a CAD CAM image, it is image designed on ExoCAD, all the virtual, and is the voice sound audible? Is the sound audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this is how, I mean, this is a perfect combination of artificial intelligence loaded with the dexterity of fine motors. And how does the motor know where to stop? How does the motor know how much to drill? How does the motor know where to drill? It's all artificial intelligence coming to play. So now you have the basic question of all these past 2 days. People talk about CNN, people talked about artificial neural network, support vector machine, deep learning, machine learning, random forest. For dentists, it's all right. This is absolutely a foreign language for you, and it's totally understood. This is a engineering, these are engineering parlance, and engineers on this forum, please forgive me if I try to make this very, very simple, but so be it, because our dentist friends needs to understand it. So I will probably deep dive into it as simple as possible. Now, to begin with, let's say What's artificial neural network? All right. What you see on the left hand side is number 3. What you see on the right hand side is also number 3 written in a different format. And there can be many variations of writing the number 3, which we human can absolutely understand. Whatever variations, whatever designs, whatever calligraphy. But how does a machine know? How does a machine know that this is number 3? Well, this is how it works. Now, yeah. So you have something like on the left hand side, you have something like a number 3 on the nodes. You know, these are the black dots are called as the nodes, and the computer has to probably understand from the image that this is number 3. So let's say, please I beg your pardon to all the engineers. I'm trying to explain it as simple as possible. This is an example. It may not be inaccurate, but just for the understanding of the concept, we are doing this. So let's say there are these nodes and the number 3 is flashed on these nodes. So an artificial neural network is nothing, but there are certain nodes or certain data points which are fed, and it comes in layers. There is a middle layer, and there is an output layer, and there is an input layer. Okay. So the computer needs to gather data from all these nodes and come to a conclusion that it's number 3. So how does it do it? So what it does, it takes the input from the first layer. The first input layer gathers data from the particular nodes. Now it looks like it could be number 1, it could be number 3, it could be sorry, I think something wrong. 1 minute. It could be number 1 at this point in time because of the one passing through all the black lines, all the black nodes. It could be number 3 because the number 3, the right hand side of the number 3 can be looking like this. It could be number 8. It could be number 9. So how does it still infer that probably this is number 3? This data is passed on to the next layer, and it gathers data from more nodes and passes it on to the hidden layer, and then probably comes to know, oh, look, there are more data coming up from these nodes, and it looks like uh, this could be probably number 3, number 8, or probably number 8 or number 3 or number 8. So based on the nodes gathered here, based on the data gathered here, it cross communicates with the hidden layer and finally gives an output as to what is the number. Sorry, 1 minute. And finally gives an output. Yes, it looks like number 3 because there are no connections of the white line on the nodes, on the black nodes on the left, and there are no connections on the white line on the black nodes on the left bottom. So based on this pattern and design, this is communicated to the input layer, which communicates with the middle layer, and they cross communicate to infer that this looks like number 3. So this is machine learning explained in a very crude, simple manner. And this is how exactly our dental data would work. We give it a set of data in the input layer. We give it another set of data in the middle layer. Both the sets cross communicate with each other to find out the most probable cause, most probable output of the scenario. So now, machine learning is like a big filtration plant. What you see here is like a cat. Okay. Now, some problem with, yeah. What you see here is a cat. What you see here on the right looks like a bird. Here on the left looks like a panther. So it's for the machines to understand and infer as to what is the real scenario. Is this a cat? Is this a jaguar? Or is this a panther? So you feed it with more data. They all are black. The one could be small, one could be big. Their food habits, the color of the eyes, their habitat, all the data is fed, and then finally it comes to the output. Okay, This looks like a cat, though it is black, but depending on all the series and interaction of the data, we come to know, yes, this is a cat. So machine learning can be supervised machine learning and unsupervised. Now, what is supervised machine learning? Imagine your mother sitting with you, and you're probably being taught. You are taught that this is A for apple, B for ball, and then you do it on yourself. And the mother, you make it say, okay, A for aeroplane. No, it's A for apple. The mother corrects you. It's A for apple. Then you do it again, and then once you get it right, the machine has learned. So the supervised machine learning is nothing but give it labeled data. This is a ball. This is a bat, and ask the machine to do it again by itself, and then probably you correct it and course correct it again and again and again and again till it gets it right. That is called as supervised machine learning. Now, similarly, so here you have a lion. So you ask to identify the lion, you tag it as lion, and then the machine identify it as a cat. Then you course correct it again. So no, this is a lion. You label it again as a lion, adding more features to it, adding more data to it till it gets it right. So that is supervised machine learning. And there is something called as unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning you can imagine as a naughty boy probably going on the phone and probably doing things on his own. So this is unsupervised learning. In unsupervised learning, though you give it a cluster of data to the machine, give him all sets of cats, and ask all, this is a scenario where all the cats are given here: spotted, stripes, big cat, small cat, jaguar, leopard, tiger, cheetah. And you ask the machine to draw its own conclusion based on a set of rules and algorithms. The machine identifies, if the machine has done it right and understood the algorithms right, it would easily draw a conclusion that these are the spotted animals. We ask the machine to spot all the cats with spots, and the machine does it on its own. Again, this one is unsupervised. If it gets it wrong, there are errors which has to be fixed, and this is repeated over many thousands of times till it gets right. Here, this is a scenario which is good for us. Where do you use it? You use it in a scenario where you have a cluster of data and it's too complex for us to understand. So you just simply set a set of rules by algorithms, which is a job of computer engineer, and ask the machine to draw its own conclusions. Okay, so that's unsupervised learning. So I'm going to give you an example of machine learning, which is supervised machine learning. All right, or support vector machines. It's very interesting. Okay, so I'll ask on the chat box, what do you see on the left? Participants can simply chat on the, I can't see my chat box here. Where is it? Yeah, okay. So participants, can you please reply on the chat box as to what do you see on the left, top left, with the 3 black dots? What does it look like? I'd like participants to respond. All right. Okay, so I'll go, I think, okay. Yeah, it's a dog. So I got a dog. And what do you see on the right? It's a cookie. That's correct. So now we want the machines to know exactly the difference between a dog and a cookie. Let's say the dog and the cookie are interspread randomly, and we want machines to know based on the set of rules that they will be probably brown in color. They will be probably having 3 dot-like structures. They will be probably having wrinkles. They will be probably, so you want the machine to know exactly what's the difference. So what we do is we randomly place it and ask the machine to differentiate. The machine, based on the set of rules, draws a conclusion that, let's see, all the objects on the left side of the line are dogs, and all the objects on the right side of the line are cookies. So is this okay? Is this okay? Is the machine right? Can you ask? Can you answer me that? No, obviously not. This is okay. This is not okay. It has differentiated the cookies as dogs. So, all right, so we feed in more data and ask him, and look, okay, this is not right. So you have to repeat the scenario. So now the machine draws this line. So is this okay? So all the left side on the data is our dogs, and all the left side on the right on the below the line are or are cookies. Is this okay? No, absolutely not. So this is how, this is okay, but this is not okay. This is okay. This is not okay. Similarly, another scenario, similar problem, and so on and so forth. Finally, after repeating this again and again and again, the machine gets it right. Okay, we got ourselves a eureka moment. All right, but then what you see in this eureka moment is the line is too close to the cookies. So that means the machine has still not differentiated perfectly with a huge margin that these are the parameters that exactly make a dog, and these are the parameters that exactly make a cookie, and they should be wide apart. They should not be close apart. Oh, maybe not, maybe not. No, they should be wide apart. So it's not right as yet. So you need to feed in more, make it more robust by repetitions again and again and again. And that depends on data points. Okay, so how do you do it? So we need a wide margin. So what do? We repeat this scenario many more times, making it robust till you get a red margin that differentiates the cookies from the dogs, and you define a green margin that defines the dogs from the cookies on the left side of the white line, and the red one is on the right side of the white line, and they should be spread apart, clearly differentiated. That means the margin should be huge. That the margin should be as huge as this is a boy, this is a man, this is a boy, this is a girl. It should not be a maybe a boy, maybe a girl. No. And we have to repeat these exercises again and again till that is called as a maximum margin classifier. All right. So this is called as a maximum margin classifier where the machine clearly understands the difference. Clearly understand the difference. And here you are with the Eureka moment for, where we have a difference between the dogs as well as the cookies. Now there are certain scenarios. Now, can you spot what has happened? Can somebody spot what has happened here in the chat box? There is a white line pointing to something. Correct. The cookie looks like a dog, all right, or dog cookie. So these are errors, and the machines need to know these errors, and we need to accept these errors. And such many errors, how much, depending upon how much you accept, makes the machines more robust. So this is exactly the same scenario in dentistry. You would have probably an endodontic. We need to know probably, let's say, scenario endodontic failure. Okay, we said molar, upper molar, lower molar. Then let's cross scenario with presence of pathology, presence of absence of root fracture. What about in scenarios a right-handed dentist or a left-handed dentist? Such many scenarios and errors have to be played again and again and again. So called as probably what do you call, the machine becomes more robust. Okay, so applications in dentistry. So this is basically some of the concepts which I talk about. And now you should know what are the actual applications. Some of them have actually presented posters on this. And here are some of the applications. And I liked some of the posters as well, specifically the implant measuring by one of the participants, and the sella turcica, and the many other interesting applications. It's nice to see the work is happening in the dental field. So you have a skeletal maturity indicator. Application is skeletal maturity. In orthodontics, we need to know, look at the vertebra and find out exactly where is the growth status of the said person. So based on images, the machines can detect based on contrast, shape, size. They used ANN, and this is Amasya 2020, and they tested it, and it got very good results, and they could actually predict that this said person with this lateral cephalogram will have this much maturity and so much growth is there. Now, there is something called as cephalometric analysis, something called as convoluted neural networks. Now here, based on the rotation, tilting, parallel shifting, mirroring, noise adding, all these parameters, the lateral cephalogram has to be understood for color, contrast, brightness, that this is a tooth, this is a bone, this is the angle, and based on that, the cephalometric analysis parameters are fed to AI, and they were pretty accurate in diagnosing. Another application. Now, interesting app called as Face to Gene, developed by FDNA. You should actually, if you are in probably in a doubt where you are, you want to diagnose any syndromes, this is a beautiful app. You feed in all the data to it, and it has this app has actually pretty useful for Caucasian and Asian population, has even outperformed clinicians in diagnosing a number of syndromes. So this is AI at its best. It's a simple app. You can download it on Apple and Android, I'm sure. And then you can simply type in the features and it gives you a probable differential diagnosis. Prediction of non-extraction versus extraction for orthodontics. Now here, the data was not, this study did not prove so well, but I saw someone presenting in the poster presentation to whatever gentleman, you should actually pursue that with a larger data set. And we would certainly, orthodontists would love to know if which cases will probably go for extraction, and machines to tell us probably the outcomes. And this is another example of perfect example of artificial learning. Aligner is the buzzword, and these machines and softwares can actually, this is by 3Shape, and they can predict the outcomes, they can move teeth, we can diagnose, plan. Aligners are completely on artificial intelligence, and that's one of the reason I think probably one profession, one segment in orthodontics where machines are taking superior command and precedence. And then another here, actually predicting the outcome of aligners. Now, here comes a company called as Dental Monitoring, where we need to know, with the orthodontist always needed to know whether the patient would wear the aligners or not. So they devised a camera with AI-based interface, and the camera could actually detect which tooth is moved, which tooth has not moved. It can also detect probably braces. It can detect the number of whether the aligner is fitting. And this has caused a raise because the kind of AI and the accurate data, it actually helps the orthodontist to modify the plan, or it also helps the orthodontist to course correct. A beautiful application gone to another level. And then here I have an application of a robot and AI actually cutting and the aligners for us. So how does the machine know where to cut? That means it identifies the margin very, very accurately. Yeah. And this is a perfect marriage of, a machine as well as AI doing the job for us. So this is one of the articles which I published some time back. And here we use 3D scans to actually scan the cleft. We designed a cleft plate on the scan. Then we actually milled it by 5-axis milling machine, which would have otherwise I would have to take the baby's impression, make a baby's plate on laboratory, and then probably deliver it. Here, nothing. All of the procedures were virtual. Scanning technology using artificial intelligence to scan the defect, Exocad softwares to actually plan the plate, VHF 5 milling machines, which are 5-axis milling machines, mills what do you call a puck, a 10 millimeter puck, and then it can probably make the plate, and this plate got delivered all within a day. That's the beauty of technology that is coming. Now imagine, I'm just thinking aloud, in the future, if you have impacted canines, you would probably have small tiny robots controlled by motors and getting into alignment. Wicked, I mean, I'm thinking aloud, yes, but probably you never know, or this could be the future. Or you have some sort of I'm just trying to tinker thoughts here. You have some sort of machine, or kind of an expansion screw in the mouth, which when expands to the appropriate level, gives a feedback automatically to the screw to stop. So imagine, I mean, I feel everybody should imagine, you never know what concept could come alive, what concept could come in the future. This is a beautiful article by Jorge Faber, Artificial Intelligence in Orthodontics. Definitely give it a read. Then there are other applications in periodontics. Here, by digital transformation and support vector machines, what the researchers did was they could very well classify gingivitis, chronic periodontitis, and aggressive periodontitis just by giving them clinical information and radiograph. And when this information was augmented by focusing on their leukocytes and interleukins and IgG antibody titers, this SVM were very accurate in performing performing satisfactorily by differentiating aggressive from the chronic periodontitis. So not only did it took information from the radiographs and the clinical information, but if you give it an antibody titer and the relative bacterial load as additional information, the diagnosis becomes even more accurate. So it all depends on how much accurately we can give a data, how much quantity and the quality of data we can give to the algorithms that will lead to a satisfactory diagnosis. Imagine a machine diagnosing TMJ problem and differentiating between TMJ mimicking conditions and genuine TMJ just by a language processing. That means it only took the data from the patient's chief complaints, clinical and biomechanical indicators, objective radiology, and condylar morphology. Just by this, it was able to diagnose a TMD mimicking conditions and genuine TMDs. TMD is such a complex which a very few clinicians are not able to. It's a gray area for many clinicians, and this was published by Shokri et al. In 2019. Now, imagine there is a brush which could actually sense how much time you have brushed, how much vigor, with how much intensity have you brushed, when is the time to brush a change. This has already become a reality, and this is called as Denti AI. This is a brush by Colgate on the left. It tells you how much time you have brushed, how much vigor intensity you have brushed, when is the time to change the bristles, and how much strokes, and probably it will give you. This is how it gives the input to the person. Now taking it beyond, this can also in this technology can actually detect caries, and this information is relayed to the dentist, and the dentist can actually interact with the patient. Okay, it's time for a checkup. I think you got a caries because I got a message from your brush. Can you beat that? So these are the shape of things to come. Again, another article by artificial intelligence for computer-aided detection of periapical lesions in cone beam CBCT images. Another must read. Now, in oral surgery, what has happened in oral surgery? They always wanted to know what is the prognosis of that tooth coming out, or the third molar coming out without any complications. And when the machines were fed oral hygiene details, relation of third molar to the mandibular ramus, the relationship of the nerve, the type of incision, and section, whether you're doing it, taking out the third molar in sections or not, whether root fracture conditions, is there a fracture of lingual bone plate or not? And it could give a 98% accurate outcome as to how many patients would have probably a post-operative swelling depending upon your procedure, and how many patients will not have a post-operative swelling. So this is AI for you guys. Another interesting research in oral surgery is when they use this SVM, ANN, and all the other AIs, and they have been accurate enough in diagnosing cysts, tumors, oral cancers, and lymph node metastasis just based on CBCT. And it was 94% accurate. And this is by Yilmaz in 2017. Another application of this is, if the cytology images were derived from telemedicine platform, the sensitivity in detecting the oral malignant and high grade potential malignant lesions increases, and they were 93% accurate. So based on cytology, based on CBCT, based on all the data, they could actually derive which one is a malignant and which is high grade potentially malignant. And these are the shape of things to come. This one in endodontics, the deep learning mechanism algorithm here could actually detect lesions with accuracy, and they were and they were used to diagnose vertical root fractures with 96.6% accuracy. So here again, a lot of questions, lot of X-rays, lot of data, everything can actually help the AI to bring in accurate diagnosis of vertical root fractures as well as detection of lesions. Now, I would like to put your attention in implantology. Here, this has actually not been a very successful study where they wanted to find out the success outcome of implants. And this is in 2017, and this is a work in progress. I think the data set is too elaborate and broad, and somebody should do a work on this. We would love to know, if we put an implant, what are the chances of it being successful based on bone morphology, CBCT X-rays, based on patient conditions. This is a work which has got a lot of potential, and somebody should take it up. Another AI is by our own dental friend. I recommend this. It's called as Dental Dost, and this is by a Pune-based dentist and her husband, techie husband, and they have come up with a beautiful app which is still work in progress, and they are in the initial stages. It's an AI-based app where you can actually click the images of your teeth through via the phone, and they can their algorithms, their image recognizing features would actually give an accurate diagnosis and many more integrations. Please do look it up. And such is the imagination we need in the future. Should have the convenience of a phone, and the phone should be able to diagnose the images, and we should get a kind of accurate data before it's too late. Here comes Denti AI.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to tell you about a special promotion that we're running for Dudely, our flagship software product.
Now, yeah, it's Denti AI.
From the latest patient visit. When your review is complete, Denti.ai will aggregate the findings from all the...
This AI can actually recognize
Scrolling through the imaging, you can easily accept, adjust, and reject the suggested findings from the latest patient visit. When your review is complete, Denti.ai will aggregate the findings from all the latest radio.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. We cannot see the video.
Oh, you cannot see the video? Okay, never mind. I'll try to play it.
Only just Denti AI logo is there.
Okay, hang on.
And it shows only YouTube link, sir.
I'll try to. Okay, we can ignore that for now. So that's a Denti AI system where the software can recognize a filling from a tooth from an implant, and it tells you the dentist that these are the number of fillings. So you don't have to really physically. This just does the job by putting an OPG and tells you there are 2 fillings, there are 2 crowns, there are two what do you call 2 implants. So these machines have kind of made our job a bit easier. Okay. Now, artificial intelligence, another article, I keep on sharing this article at random, by an application of artificial intelligence dentistry by Tishan. Please look it up. It gives a very elaborate, very precise, and very concise, very concise explanation of what's happening there. Somebody talked about implant driving into the bone, machines driving implants into the bone. So this is the shape of things to come. So don't be dependent on the machines too much, because even this thing can happen. This is on a lighter note.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open. And we're gonna do one more.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open. Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey! Open door!
Play on the floor.
Get on the floor! Open the door!
Wrong voice command. Error.
Hey, with a rock? Open door.
So we really don't want to be dependent on everything on the machines to do our job. It is time still not reached there. As somebody said at one of the first speaker, that these are the 5 steps of automation of cars, and they talked about 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have still not reached the 4th and 5th, where the car can completely take over the human's task of driving the car. And even the experts in artificial intelligence feel that it's still that our machines, we have still not reached the number 4 and number 5, where machines do all the thinking for us completely without even asking us. So thankfully, we are still there at 2 or 3, and we are not progressed to the number 4 and 5. I'm about to end my presentation soon. So those who like machine learning, they should definitely tinker with electronics. There are Arduino software electronics, where it is an open source, every instruction, everything is there. You should probably get into Java programming from the basics. Also, a high school algebra will help. Don't think, okay, tomorrow I'll go and learn. Bina algebra ke kuch nahi. You need algebra, you need little logical thinking, and you do need Python programming. You need JavaScript is a little ahead of Python programming. It's very complex, but if you have the liking, a little bit amount of knowledge would help, because that will help you to communicate with the engineers better. Okay. And with this, I'm going to probably leave you with this is my number, and you get in touch with me, and that's my email ID, and let me know if you need anything or interactions. We can interact, come up with ideas, and thank you very, very much. All right, I'm done with my presentation. Any questions or?
अभी नहीं, बाद में शेयर करें. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Shanbag.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful presentation, dude.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, very well explained with the videos, animations, and it was an interactive session. And like in earlier sessions, I have not attended and I have not understood full sessions. But this session, I did not move for 1 second also. Thank you. And you made it very simple and understanding. Yeah. So with this, and we will come to the conclusion of the today's sessions now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Invite and let us.
Yeah. For participants, any questions?
So I got a question saying that, do you think that we should keep our clinical data to be used for AI to ML? We are already doing it, because we are giving our clinical data to with softwares like Practo and Bestosys. So we have kind of sold our data already to them, and probably they are, I'm not sure what Bestosys, but Practo, the data is with them. But even Bestosys, all the other softwares, there are many softwares which have our data. So this is already happening. So I think it's a very scary affair to be completely giving all our data, patients' data and private information to softwares and machines like that. You never know how the privacy laws are going to change in the future. In Singapore, it is also pretty strict, they depend on machines, but it's still that they have to physically sign and write all the case paper reports physically with the doctor's signature, despite another assistant entering all the data on the software. But they said it's legally, if it gets challenged in court, the software data will not hold valid, but a physical handwriting and observations with the doctor's signature will hold valid. So that's a debate there. I mean, you can debate on that, whether it could happen or not happen, but we are already doing it. We are giving our data to all these patient management softwares.
Thank you very much,
Any
sir.
other questions by the
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, I'm impressed with your work, sir.
Thank you.
We are from engineering background. Still, we impress from your work, sir.
Engineer, and I'm sincere apologies if I've done any mistake or gone wrong, and please feel free.
No. You are 100% correct. All the work are absolutely excellent. Yeah. I request to all the participants if you want to give the verbal feedback also. Anyone?
Hello.
Yeah, unmute them all, maybe.
Yeah, they can unmute themselves. I think
Dr.
Shani,
Gajaran?
you told about Denti Dost. Vidhi Bhanushali is there. I could see same, na?
That's right. Vidhi Bhanushali.
Yeah.
As well. I forgot how.
Vidhi.
Yeah.
I think because I could see that. Do you have any comments on that?
Hello,
Vidhi?
Mr. Anil. Yes. Thank you for acknowledging and introducing. I'm not able to turn on my video because I think the host has disabled it.
Yeah,
but
one second. कहाँ पे? Yeah.
Okay, I think it is done. Yeah, you people able to see me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Stop the screen sharing, Shanbag.
Yeah, I think I'll stop the screen sharing. Yeah, one moment, please. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Namaste. And thank you for introducing me, Mr. Namir. So yes, thank you, Dr. Gajanan, for introducing our startup. I think we have crossed the stage of being an early stage, and we are able to detect at 70% accuracy. And I feel very glad that so far we've served more than 20,000 patients in this particular year through detection by AI/ML. So thank you for covering us in your presentation, and it was a very nice presentation. I think it covered almost everything what is happening in the nation and even outside the country. So really appreciate that.
Thank you. So Anil, like, you know what, it's examples like this, the Dental Dose app, and where a dentist has simply imagined that we could do this. You will have probably communicated to an engineer friend and see where can we do this. So this is exact the protocols. Start imagining things. Ask people for help. Ask your engineer friends. Interact with them. They will give you ideas. Solve the problem. Imagination का कोई पैसा नहीं लगता.
Yeah, no. Even in our institute also, we have engineering and all combined one project we have prepared. That is a teletask we have prepared. I think in this we are entering all the patient data, keeping all the data, and then the peripheral dentist or patients can interact and communicate with the dentist, opposite dentist, and this whole data will be easily accessible to peripheral dentists also, but it's in a budding stage.
It's great.
So
it will solve the problem. A lot of people in the villagers, telemedicine. It's an excellent platform that will solve.
So that's this thing. And with what exactly yours is Denti Dost does?
Yes. So as Dr. Gajaran already gave the introduction, at Dental Dose, what we have done is enabled any common person to scan his oral cavity. So in a guided template, we let them scan their oral cavity in 5 angles and then give instant result using the machine learning algorithm that we've made. So we've been doing this since past 3 years. And so far we've served more than 20,000 patients with this. So it's as easy as a person scanning his mouth either through the app, or we have even integrated the same on WhatsApp bot. Since in India people have more WhatsApp and phones as compared to the statistics having toothbrush. So once they're aware, then we have even partnered with dental clinics in every locality, where then we refer them to get the treatment done, and we take care of follow-up calls and everything. I mean, basically, we even get into the normal routine of their patients, help them understand why oral care is important, and help them change their habits as well.
Yeah, we can partner with you also positively. We have a dental institute. We have 13 institutes in Sakal Chand Patel University, and doing a lot of research also. So I will take details from the Shanbag. He has, I think. So I will contact with you.
We've already partnered with a lot of institutes in Maharashtra. All 5 institutes in Pune, Karad Institute, Varda Institute. So I mean, I really appreciate. Yes.
I know all Krishna.
Yes.
So we will be moving ahead with the thank you for the interaction. Any participants would like to give your feedback? Shubha? Yeah, please.
Marvelous presentation, Dr. Gajanan. Really enjoyed it, and the updates are fantastic compared to the earlier presentation I've attended on the IDA platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the constant encouragement, madam. And yeah, because based on many people feedback, this will give a constantly changing scenario. So that updates were added later. And yeah, many more, I'm sure many more exciting updates are going to come in the future. I'm sure.
My PhD student was interested to create an app. So I've got new info now. I'm going to encourage her to go ahead. So thank you so much.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think with this we will come to end of the session. Before ending that, would like to invite Dr. Kirit Modi sir to say a few words. Kirit sir. Yes. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Kirit Modi sir is Dean of Faculty of Management and Head of the Department of Computer Science of Sakalchand Patel University. Yes, sir. Sir, please.
Yeah, so thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, I have been associated with this event from the beginning. Actually, Anil sir and the Ankur sir came to me and they informed me that we are actually planning to conduct this kind of the symposia, and along we required the kind of the experts from the AI domain and all this. Then even we work a lot, and even continuously wherever actually Anil sir told me that, sir, please do something. Then actually I can see the program actually which was the planned and organized, so it is really well organized. All the speakers, even especially the Sandbach sir, provided the way. Actually, if the people from the dental domain or medical domain, if they are actually working in the area of the IML, then definitely we have to rethink again how we can do for that. And even some projects are actually under the progress at the institution. So we are working on some multidisciplinary projects. So I think this AI and ML, especially even I have worked with some of the projects related to the healthcare. So this combination really we can say very appropriate, the combination AI, ML technology and healthcare. So because these two are really close to us, very close to our the day-to-day the life, and the different the various kinds of the experts. So they delivered the sessions on the topics which are very relevant to our day-to-day life, even the situation which we have faced from last 1.5 years. So even we have covered those things. So I'm very much thankful to the organizing committee, especially I'm thankful to the Anil sir for actually organizing this kind of the event. And this includes all the we can say the experts from the computer IT as well as the experts from the medical, paramedical, dental domain. So I really appreciate the efforts, sir, the organizing team and all the experts. So thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Now this international multidisciplinary research aspect in AI and ML, we had a poster presentation events. We had received more than 30 posters and authored by 90 authors, and there were more than 150 registrations for this event across India and abroad. Now I would like to request poster committee to share the prizes. We have given the prizes session wise, day 1 and day 2. The judges were, I would like to acknowledge the judges also for the poster presentations yesterday. Dr. Rupal Shah ma'am and Dr. Chirag Patel, sir. And today, Dr. Divya Sharma and Dr. Parth Shah, sir. So, with their help, we are declaring the results. The first prize for the session 1 goes to Jal Shah. The details of the poster. So this whole the presentations and everything will be put on YouTube also. So second prize goes to Shilpa Dusheja and third prize goes to Arunima. And for the second session, the first prize goes to Subhajit Panda. Second prize goes to Prachi Pandya and third prize goes to Haley Shah. On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to congratulate all of you and all the prize winners. And I would like to thank all the participants for attending it. So all the participants, you will receive your certificate once you fill your our feedback form with a correct residential or mail address. And all the prize winners, you will get the certificates of prizes within 10 to 15 working days, because of the Diwali vacation is coming on, provided you mention your correct address on the in the feedback form. So now I would like to thank our president of SPU Sakalchand Patel University, Shri Prakash Bhai Patel sir, who has provided us all the infrastructure and support to organize these kinds of events. And I would like to thank our pro sir, Dr. J.R. Patel sir, who is always encouraging and enthusiastic in organizing, supportive for the organizing any events. I would like to thank Dr. D.J. Shah sir, Director of Technical Courses and organizing chairman of these 2 days GUJCOST sponsored International Multidisciplinary Research Aspect on Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, for his meticulous planning and all the guidance he is provided for us. I would like to thank my co-organizing secretary of this event, Dr. Ankur Goswami. Because of his all the efforts, we could conduct this successful program. I would like to acknowledge the major tasks delivered by poster committee. Would like to mention the team name: Dr. Sarin Duseja, Dr. Yash Bafna, Dr. Harsh, Dr. Bhakti, for their tireless work and making this event very successfully. I would like to thank all the speakers. We had 4 international speakers and 2 national speakers. All were wonderful. I would like to thank Professor Giorgio Giacinto. He is from Cagliari University, Italy. Dr. Rasita Fernando from Carolina University, North Carolina. Dr. Kalpadrum Passi, he is from Laurentia University, Canada. And Dr. Shweta Ruparel, she was the co-founder of WisePlug. And Dr. Gajanan Shanbag, Director of Braces and Smiles. And Dr. Surjit Debnath from Tripura, for delivering wonderful lectures and accepting our invitation and doing the best thing for this symposium. I would like to thank all the participants, and I would like to thank all our organizing committee members of e-symposia from all the institutes: medical, dental, physiotherapy, nursing, engineering, pharmacy, and science colleges. And I would like to thank our technical department of Sakalchand Patel University for making this event very successful. If I have missed anybody, I'm sorry, and thank you very much. All the participants, once again, I thank you all. And Shanbag, you made me very proud. So he is my buddy, sir. We studied together. I'm very happy, and it was nice meeting you.
Hope I've done justice to it.
No.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, and hope to see you offline in the future.
Oh yeah, so I mean, we are hoping to And
Kirit sir, we have artificial intelligence and machine learning. Kirit sir and one more his colleague is there. They have a huge department here, and we have a supercomputer facility also provided by government of Gujarat. And under the startup student innovation project, we fund projects to the students who are doing these kinds of projects here. Up to 2 lakh rupees is funded for any projects. So
I'm amazed. Yeah. The perfect environment. All you need to imagine now. I mean, the perfect environment for honing the field. In the field.
Hope to see you offline in the future.
Yes.
Thank you. It was great having you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
so. Shall we end the session, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.